if I go back to the early 1970s, maybe late 1960s, our founding fathers had a dream to create a place where people could come and be relaxed and enjoy and learn about the beauty of Pueblo culture. This vision started, as I said, back in the late 60s, and the center opened in 1976. So today, and from that day forward, every staff member, every employee at the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center has worked tirelessly to achieve that vision. And we continue to work towards that vision today. And today is a significant accomplishment and milestone for that, as we now are opening the space downstairs that is a place where you can come, anyone can come, and learn and share and research about Pueblo culture and the rich history that we have as Pueblo people. So I know there's other folks that are going to come up and say a few things about the importance of that space, but I would like to spend a few minutes and just recognize how that space was created and who created it. This is a great example of our team coming together and putting together something that is very unique, something that really didn't exist before. We seem to have a knack for doing that around here, and it just gives me a lot of pride to talk about that. As you go down to the Library and Archives Center in a few minutes after we've said our remarks, you'll see an amazing space, a space that we took the vision from the IPCC team, Monique and her team, and our volunteers, and we all rallied around that vision and came together to create that space. And when I say we, I mean we, everybody from our accounting department to our marketing department, and I have to say a special thanks to our property development folks. The construction and maintenance crew went down there and did virtually all of this themselves. So it's absolutely amazing. I also need to thank the state of New Mexico and our legislative groups for providing us some funding to help us with that. It was awesome that they helped out with that. And again, I would say, going back to the 1970s, that all the folks that were involved from the start of the Cultural Center have helped us get where we are today. So that's very important to us that we recognize everyone that's come before us. A special thanks to our volunteer group too. You all are amazing. You've helped us, actually helped us achieve this vision, so we want to thank you for that. And I do have to thank Monique for her leadership and vision and helping her team come to this space in time. So with that, I'd like to maybe have Monique come up and say a few words. Monique?
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Canfield. So hello, everybody. I'm Monique Fraua. I'm from the Pueblo of Jemez. I am the Vice President of Operations here for Indian Pueblo Cultural Center and Indian Pueblo's marketing. So it's a beautiful day, and thank you, everybody, for being here. A special welcome to our volunteers, our staff, and everybody who came out today to make this day possible. As a part of our mission to preserve and perpetuate Pueblo culture, many people have worked over the years to cultivate the only special collections and research library in the world, specifically devoted to the history and culture of Pueblo people. Through the last 42 years, in an always changing world, one thing has remained steady. At the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center, it's the importance of telling our Pueblo story. And I'm really excited because today is actually the 42nd anniversary of the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center, opened April 21st, 1976. Our Pueblo story is a story of strength, survival, and resilience. Our collection consists of over 4,000 objects of cultural significance that depict our heritage for future generations. Our library houses nearly 10,000 books, 12 archival collections, and over 100 theses and dissertations centered on Pueblo topics. Each of these items play a role in our center being a priceless resource of knowledge for students, for researchers, and even our own museum staff to use as inspiration to gain knowledge of the work of our Pueblo communities, our very talented artists, and our triumphant leaders who have undergone so much to sustain our way of life. Through the perseverance and work of Dr. Joe Sando, Ted and Kathy Sturm, Pat Reck, Jan Barnhart, Dr. Rose Diaz, Amy Cisneros, Vina Begay, Pat Mays, and our countless volunteers, our special collections, our research library is truly the heart of our center. Together we use the foundation that they've built to uphold the responsibility as Pueblo people to respect the boundaries of what is seen, what is interpreted, and what is exhibited. As a living culture, we protect our languages and our practices. We must keep our heritage alive for our children and for their children. Through our actions and surroundings, by placing an emphasis on our Pueblo core values, while focusing on preserving our connections to the land, addressing issues of sovereignty, and understanding the importance of telling our story of the past. We must do that with the utmost respect to the future generations of our Pueblo people. It is a responsibility the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center holds at our core, and today's opening is truly an example of that. The renovation of 8,000 square feet, it's a space where our collections can breathe. Thank you. With that, I'd like to invite some of our staff who are behind me here to come on up and share some words of inspiration, insight, and anything else I'd like to say, I guess. So, Amy, would you like to go first? Amy Cisneros, our collections specialist.
Hi, good morning or afternoon, everyone, and so glad that the sun came out as soon as we walked from down below. It was wonderful. Welcome, everybody. This is very exciting for all of us. I don't know how else to say it, but I also want to acknowledge some folks here that I'm seeing out here that one of our former museum directors, Elizabeth Chestnut, and her husband, Peter. And I just want to start by saying I'm from the Pueblo of Isleta, and I grew up down there in Isleta, which isn't too far from here. I'm also part Navajo, but I started working here 16 years ago in March, so I've seen a lot of changes here, a lot, and have been part of a lot of these changes as well. So I'm very proud and honored to be here still representing the Pueblos, and also very happy to have this new beautiful space downstairs that you're all going to see. Because I work with the object collection, and Monique mentioned that we do have about 4,000, a little over 4,000 pieces in our collection now. And for those of you who missed that part of the tour this morning at 10 a.m., I am here. I will be here. So once we walk through and get a little bit of a briefing on the library and archives, you're welcome to come over and see me. And again, thank you so very much, and much appreciation to all of my volunteers over the years. I've had many, as well as a lot of interns, so I would not be able to do all the work I do without them. There's no possible way. So again, thank you so much. Enjoy. This feels so good out here. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy. Now let's invite up a true treasure to the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center, Dr. Rose Diaz. I have to tell you, Dr. Diaz was awarded the 2017 Guardians of Pathway and Culture Award by the Association of Tribal Libraries, Archivists, and Museums, and she's definitely been a true inspiration for myself in the work that she does, but also in the work that she's done within our Pueblo communities. So, Dr. Diaz.
Good morning, or good afternoon. First of all, I want to start out by saying that I feel like I won the Academy Award, and I have 15 minutes before 15 seconds before the music starts. So my comments are brief, but really heartfelt. First, some milestones for me personally. I turned 65 this year, yay, and I finally got all of my hair to turn white. That's the other one. And my knee replacement went very well. So you know how us old folks, when we get together, we have to let each other know how we're doing. My first thanks especially is to the Council of Governors and the board, our staff, our colleagues and administrators, and especially the administration for Native Americans, who was our major funder. They supported the stabilization and expansion of all of our library and provided support training to assist with skill development in Pueblo communities with 2 grants, which amounted to $1 million in support from federal, targeted state grants, IPCC and IPNM, and private funding and donors. So we by no means did this without extreme help from our supporters. I'll share a few statistics with you that we are very proud of. First of all, our volunteers who dedicated more than 20,000 hours plus of service, and sometimes it even amounted to about 30 volunteers working at one time. We have an expansive and really the beginnings of a great archives program. We had 22 on-site interns for short and long-term assignments. We had 14 community-based interns, and we provided 8 training workshops here at the center for the community to come and get together to network and to learn new things about library and archives from each other. One of the most interesting accomplishments was the establishment of the first Tribal Council Archive and Library in collaboration with the Zuni Tribal Council and Archivist. Thanks very much to Governor Pantea and Council and their archivist, Cordelia Hui, who has found her work passion in life. That's always gratifying to somebody who's on the downside of their career. Many thanks go to my sister friends, Jan Barnhart and Pat Myers, who are the best organizers I've ever worked with and kept me in line most of the time. Jan started as a volunteer, as a consultant, came back as a volunteer, and then as a part-time employee to oversee the library. Pat started as a volunteer and was actually my first volunteer. So she and I have a long relationship of, we called ourselves the Midnight Marauders because if anybody left anything in the hallway, we grabbed it for our library. She also, as I said, started as a volunteer and went to a part-time position with us and now is a full-time employee of the library. One other person that I would be remiss in not mentioning is Vina Begay, our new librarian who will take the library to new heights. And I'm very excited about this next level of support. Thanks also to Joe Sando, Dr. Joe Sando, and Dr. Ted Sturm, whose idea of a library and archive guided our mission more than I can ever tell you. This happened with the support of the IPCC Friends and the hard work of Naomi Schaefer and Kathy Sturm, who is not only our institutional memory, but remains at the heart of this endeavor along with our Pueblo communities. Kathy was also on the first grant written to the Administration for Native Americans, along with Martha Bechtel, Catherine Purley, who has since passed, and Joe Sabatini. To my family and all others mentioned and unmentioned, you made it a pleasure to come to work on behalf of Pueblo communities. And every day I felt blessed and enriched by all that I learned, everyone I met, and want to continue this work. So we've actually got another grant that I'm on, which will be interviewing contemporary Pueblo women And this is a National Endowment for the Humanities grants, which are usually very difficult to get. So I'll be around for the next 3 years, albeit part-time, but I did want to acknowledge, Pat, will you stand? Jan? Vina? And Jonna Payton, who is on her 3rd tour of duty with our project. So with that, I thank you for coming and being part of this celebration. It couldn't have happened without your support and your continued existence in our lives. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Dr. Diaz. Now let's bring up Vina Bigay, our IPCC librarian.
Good morning. It's wonderful to be here, and I do want to say thank you for coming and supporting the Library and Archives and also the museum collection. So just a little introduction. I am Navajo, and so out of respect of what I was taught, so I got to introduce myself in Navajo. So Yate Vina Bigay Yinishe Clash Cheat Nishle Ki Ani Bashish Teen and Tabaha Dashache. So I'm the current librarian archivist at the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center, and I have taken on this role since November of last year. And it's a real honor to have the torch passed on to me and to carry on the legacy of our past contributors. And it's phenomenal to see what has been done. Since I came on, there was a lot of collections, there's a lot of organizing, and there's a lot of things that I would like to see more improve with the library, and hopefully get it running into more functional and get a lot of people in the library as well. And there's very wonderful history on the Pueblos and learning their culture, so it's a real honor to carry on the legacy of our predecessors. I want to say thank you again for attending the grand reopening. This is an excellent milestone and a new chapter for the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center that many of our past contributors never thought would be possible. We are really greatly appreciative for the hard work of our dedicated volunteers. Without them, a lot of our materials would not be the way it is today. So I do really thank them a great deal for their hard work. Along with our past contributors, such as the original Friends of the Indian Pueblo Cultural Center, the late Joe Sando and Ted Sturm, in paving the way for and leading the archives to this moment. What makes our collection unique from other libraries is the collection detailing the 19 Pueblos and preserving their culture and telling their history. Not only that, also other Native American tribes. And there's not many huge collection in majority of the libraries, so that's what makes it unique. Through our collection resources, we strive to educate and change the stereotypical narrative that the Pueblo people and other indigenous people face today. So our collection also provides historical insight, indigenous perspective, and daily lives of the Pueblo and the Native American tribes. So with that, you know, in the library and archive field, it's always a wonderful feeling to hear about new libraries being opened, because it is a huge community effort. As you know, a lot of our contributors are from various different organizations. I worked with marketing, I worked with IT. It's a lot of community effort, so it takes a lot to build a library. And so I hope to see each and every one of you come in. We are open Monday through Friday from 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. and we're closed on weekends. So please do say hi, introduce yourself. I would like to meet each and every one of you. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, as you heard, it took a lot of people to get where we are today. So thank you all for your comments. I'd also like to recognize a special person that's with us today, and that's our astounding board member, Roger Madalena, who's been a board member since 1995. We thank you for your leadership and your board representation today. Roger has his family with him today too, so thank you for being here, Roger. So that really concludes our remarks. Again, many, many thanks to all of you who made this possible. We're excited now to go down and share with you the space that had been created by all of us. So I guess we can all head down right through these doors and across this way and down the steps, and we'll be able to see the beautiful space. Thank you all for coming.
There typically hasn't been, the date that they do the run, that's what you're to do.
Oh no, I'm talking about the dig. They're actually gonna do a dig from.
Oh, yeah, no, they haven't talked to us about it or anything like that.
Thanks for bringing that up. I mean, it seems like it went very well here. I know of it.
So the answer is lists.
Art, pottery, weavings, textiles. Oh, yeah. And if I don't know if you've looked at the collection, but if you go around the curve, around to the other side,
No, I missed that turn.
you,
So I'm gonna ask
Amy's
her.
there. Yeah, so you just make your way around and you just go around the curve, and then it'll be on the other
Oh,
side.
she's not in this work. Maybe I
No,
should
she's
go
not in
there.
this. Yeah, it's on the other side. It's actually opposite this, but you can't go through, so you have to go around.
Yeah, I used to wander around here when they were doing this work. Where's the bathroom?
It's beautiful though. It came together
I
so
know.
well. Very
The line
nice.
is so good.
Yeah.
It's so spacious. I just love it. I'm like, okay, I guess I have to think of something to research. Thanks.
Isn't it amazing? Wow, it's great. Postcard collection.
All the racist stuff on the back's amazing too.
Yeah.
It's all stuff.
Yeah.
The savages, the civilization, civilizing.
He had another event to go to, so yes, so he wanted to go.
School.
So who had
Colleen.
Yeah, everything.
Oh, this is her